So our department is one of those mega departments, and I don't want to bore you with anything, because if you think business management, those who studied that will think, oh my goodness, that was boring. It's textbook-based, it's PowerPoint-based. We currently service 10,200 students and the grads over a year, and our offerings ranges from entrepreneurship to supply chain, communication management, basic general management strategy, international management, turnaround, and leadership. So it's a very comprehensive offering, and we combine three basic principles. That's managerial, it's entrepreneurial, and it's leadership. So everything we do embrace those three principles in all those offerings. So we also attempt to create knowledge, we do. We also distribute knowledge, we into skills development, they must be able to do it, they must be work ready, and also everything we do is very entrepreneurial in terms of their thinking. So innovation is embedded in that, creativity is embedded in that, opportunity finding and so on. But as you all know, we have this big problem of disengagement. We had that about 6-7 years ago, and before that as well. You sit with a 600 seat class, 400 to 600, and there's just very little learning taking place. And that was the history of this subject specifically, or this module, or these modules. So students don't attend, or when they attend, they sit and do what you see there. I think nowadays it's all about doing social media in class, but that was our major issue. So we went through an entire process of revamping and re-understanding teaching and also learning, and found that the teaching styles available is not matching the learning style. So that was the first component we've identified. Also, we sat with this real and deeper dilemma of disengagement classrooms in terms of the learning matter and the teaching methods, and also curriculum transformation. So that's something we've addressed from the start. Also, the aspect of innovation. These courses remained the same for decades in terms of the outcomes, in terms of the content as well. So we've addressed that by means of curiosity, the basics of creativity, started investigating everything, restructuring everything based on the end user. So the principles of user experience drove this whole rethinking of business management, and we found that there's no generic end user. There's a new challenge. These students are Generation Me, but also they're very into social and team-oriented kind of action and group work. They also collaborate, they like cooperation, the cooperative kind of exercises and cases. They tech-savvy more than my lecturers, I think some of them. They love simplicity, user experience, and as the research showed us, they also like printed books, like the majority of them, which was quite a shock for us, because we went totally electronic 5-6 years ago and found that the majority of them want printed books. We also offer that to them. And they don't like reading at all. We all know that. So a lot of them didn't even buy textbooks. They copied the chapters, which was illegal in any case. And a textbook was just there for those who really want to do well. And they can get summarized notes and things from peers. They're very visual. They don't like class attendance because it's boring, to use a scientific term there. And the learning is different. We found a new way, understanding the new way of learning, how they study. And they like research and they want meaning. So they just don't want PowerPoint anymore. They want a lecturer, facilitator, that was mentioned by the previous presenter, that is facilitating meaning and facilitating content and context and bringing business to the classroom, which is the context of the subject or these subjects. So we found that our integrated solution, and this is about 6 years ago, was to have a student-centered teaching and learning method. We want to include some instruction outside of the class, bring business to the classroom, create some reality and frame of reference by means of technology, and interactive group learning activity in class with the challenge of 2,800 first years, or 1,000 second years, or 1,000 third years. So that was a big challenge, but we need to look at group dynamics, because that's the world of work and the new future skills they need to be able to work effectively. And based on that, the following principles were stipulated, and it's all about active learning, problem-based learning, all of those things that look like a cliche, but we've incorporated that in our design thinking. And then we started co-creating with McGraw Hill via the Connect platform, and we worked together on scale. So that was very important for us to start with a big group, our third-year strategic management group, and then started with a seamless integration from first to third years. understanding Connect and Learn Smart and all the other nice apps and things they use. And in order to apply the learning principles and teaching principles we've identified before this process, so it becomes quite a long time. And what we like about the McGraw Hill partnership is that the basic principles of learning do not change, right? So it addresses all the aspects we've identified before: active learning, collaboration, prior knowledge, problem solving, and the rest. And that was a basic and very good synergy with in terms of our intent. So the content, we had a look at that with McGraw. We want contextualized and South African kind of cases linked to the best textbooks in the world. That's very important. Our standards and quality is number one. We're busy in the process to acquire AACSB accreditation, and that's very important for us, the quality and the level assessment and so on. And also the teaching and the assessments, which is always a challenge. So based on McGraw Hill's model, we sort of integrated that with our model. In terms of the content, we developed new textbooks by including the best chapters in the world and also contextualizing that to South African and African context in terms of case and understanding. Adaptive reading, it's a total winner. It's been a total winner. These students started reading because they have to. And they did not like that at all, especially on the third year level. We did a bit of a snapshot research there, and they didn't like the fact that they have to read now. But if you look at the final grades, it really helped and assisted in enhancing our pass rates and so on. Assessments changed the whole scenario but totally. New ways of assessment, formative and summative, and it all worked together in terms of the main objective of learning engagement, learning centeredness, which is the core, and alignment. So in terms of what happened in COVID, and was accidentally, I would say, although very scientific, the process and very good lecturers driving this, is quite a seamless integration. So you speak about the 48-hour turnaround. We were ready for that. Especially our first-year lecturers already do flipped classroom kind of things for years, for 5 years now. We already have online assessments right through from formative to summative. And at the end, our first semester COVID, we were all worried about pass rate, but all my Connect modules had a pass rate above 85%, and the average, below 65%, not above. So the standard was quite good. We had very little issues with integrity and dishonesty, like what the previous presenter mentioned. And that was good for us. That was the big worry. In certain subjects with a lot of calculations and quantitative analysis, we found a number of groups working together that had the same answers and ways of doing that. So Proctor is the answer to that, and we'll definitely apply it from here. But in general, we're very happy because we were ready for this. Connect helped, but totally in addressing all the issues. We've done a bit of feedback in terms of the users and how they found the experience of, let's say, teaching and learning and the continuation from March till now. And the following were provided. The first is adaptive reading. That stands out as for us the number one. We got our students to read. It also enabled my facilitators to engage in conversation in the virtual class because they already read the content, and now we can chat about it. We can offer examples, we can create more context. And that is something that became very popular from a very unpopular kind of action in the learning environment. Secondly, the test bank, that helped a lot. It's a very well-developed test bank. It saves a lot of time in developing, especially formative assessment quizzes, cases, and tests. And the setting up of the test, that's normally, very time-consuming. That helped a lot because there are so many types of questions on different levels and aligning with Bloom's taxonomy, which is very important for us, especially while we're busy with the AACSB accreditation process. Also, the technical support. I think this must be one of the only suppliers in this world with someone with a doctorate in education technology, and Dr. Gail Kotze is really phenomenal in supporting us on technical support, also on educational principle kind of support. So she really understands outcomes and how it links to content. And all the facilitators working with her will know that, it's there's an answer within 24 hours and earlier. She's very, very good. And that is part of these co-creation kind of benefits with this offering. And also then the assessment. Assessment is always an issue, especially when it's online. And we didn't battle with that at all. I've already mentioned taxonomy, Bloom's taxonomy. The new simulations, the mini simulations are great. Feedback very positive. You can make it short and it's not a 5-page MBA kind of case study, but it's short and effective. And all these, you can link it to a number of learning principles and make theory real. One example here of feedback is I did my semester test through the platform and the system allowed me to block access to the content for the duration of the test. Now that is a significant contribution in the world of assessment. So that helped a lot in order to test integrity as well. Integration, as mentioned before, it fully integrates with Gradebook, no extra work, no manual capturing. It worked very well. No issues in terms of that. And I can give you a number of examples 7, 8 years ago in terms of integration or how we've captured our grades. Assessment, I did my, okay, that's already mentioned. And then the apps, the different applications and platforms the students could use to access content, exercises from really enable them to work and study. You can work very efficiently on a smartphone, and that's really a plus. That was not the case 5, 6 years ago, especially on Blackboard, where the mobile part of it was not that efficient. And if you look at Connect now, it's easy to use on a smartphone as well. Reporting, the platform allows for early detection of at-risk students so that our team can address them. It offers a lot of inclusivity there, and we can work one-on-one, especially with our students who battle certain terminology and calculations and cases and so on. So that helped a lot. And then the customer service is commendable. It's really something I would highlight as why we have this partnership.